Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ahlan wa sahlan, guys. Welcome everybody. My name is Yaqut Zaman, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, enjoying yourselves. I'm just going to go on to TikTok because slowly TikTok followers are gaining the number of followers I have on YouTube. Okay, so Q&A. Teacher. Okay, so ahlan wa sahlan, guys. Welcome. My name is Yaqut Zaman. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, enjoying yourselves on this wonderful. The weather today was very good in the daytime. Alhamdulillah. Right, so when it comes, walaikum assalam, student of knowledge, when it comes to Usul Shashi, which Hashia would you recommend? I have never read a Hashia on Usul Shashi. I don't really know which ones are the best ones, to be honest, to say which one, because there isn't really much work that's been done on Usul Shashi. So I don't know which ones are available. Do you know which ones are available? I honestly I don't know which ones are out there really. Fusul al-Hawashi, yeah, I don't know. I have never read them thoroughly to be able to say how good they are. I've never read them thoroughly. Maybe one or two places, maybe I've just checked. If I can't remember, I read my Salah. Shall I assume I read it? No, you should read it again. Is it possible regarding niqab to say that we aren't in times of fitna and it's fine for women? Not necessarily. It depends which area, depends what circumstances. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ibrahim, ahla wa sahla. Shaykh, can men wear compression shirts? They can wear it as long as, the place where the aura is, from the navel downwards. Right? It should not be tight over there. Is it makruh tanzih to pray Isha alone after midnight? According to Hanafis, yes. Which view is stronger, makruh time before Maghrib, 45 minutes or 15 to 20 minutes? I don't understand. Which view is stronger, makruh time before Maghrib? 45 minutes? It all depends which part of the world the person is in. It's where basically the makruh time is where there's only a little bit of time left for Maghrib to start. So I would say about 10-15 minutes before Maghrib, usually. Does the prohibition of isbal also include trousers from this day and age? Yeah, so according to Hanafis, the makruh is makruh tanzihi. Makruh tanzihi is. Isbal of thobe without pride. Yeah, so no, that doesn't come under it. Is it allowed to enslave murtad men or women if there is a war? If a war breaks out and they have joined the enemy and the Muslim army has captured them, according to Hanafi fiqh, then they can be captured as captives of war. Welcome, people of TikTok. Ahlan wa sahlan. Sal, welcome, Sal. Thank you for all the hearts. Ya Allah, hasbunallah. Right, so today, mashallah, was very nice and fire today. I burnt some garden waste. I love doing fires in the garden from a young age. Me and my grandma used to do them when I was young. So I kind of got trained by her in garden fires. I've got ijaza from her. And I've been making videos, guys. So I've been making more videos on the slow Arabic. Yeah, so slow Arabic ones, you guys can check them out. Alhamdulillah. I've been making more slow Arabic ones. And generally, I think overall the slow Arabic ones are quite popular. I just need to know what kind of translations, what kind of translation I should attach to it. Should I do an English translation? Well, obviously that's the main one that people like. Some people have been asking for an Indonesian translation. Some people have been asking for French translation. Right. So the only thing that I am in two minds about is that should I have all the translations on the same screen, or should I make separate translations with separate videos? So have like one for the English and one for Urdu and one for Indonesian, one for French. Don't really know at the moment yet. See what you guys say about that, inshallah. I need your feedback. That's what you guys are going to help me with, inshallah. Imperium, some welcome, my brother. Do you still make the slow? Yes, still make the slow Arabic videos. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Still making the slow Arabic videos. And tomorrow, inshallah, I will be in Burnley. So I'm going to be in Burnley tomorrow for a talk. So welcome, inshallah. Welcome over there, inshallah. And then I'll probably be meeting some friends in Blackburn as well. So if you're around, inshallah, maybe we can meet up if I've got time, because then I'll have to go back. Could you make the slow ones but with poetry? I can, but the problem is they will be too long unless I make it very, very short. That's the only issue. So the slow ones work with the 3-minute videos because it's long enough for people to listen. Then if it's too long, I don't think people are really going to listen. If I get like a good number of people contacting me saying that they would like longer videos, then I may make some longer videos. But I think at the moment, the ones that people watch, if one or two people ask me to make longer videos, I probably won't make longer videos because it takes a lot of my time. Unless what I do is I start a funding a funding page where I get funding from people to make certain videos, and that way I can, instead of me having to dedicate my time to other things, I can focus just on that. That's what I was thinking about this week. That these kind of projects that I do, maybe I can focus on something like that. Because otherwise, if one or two people just ask me to make a video, I probably won't make that video. Can woman shoe shiwa? What? Sure, I don't understand. Can we make jama or prayers taqdeen? Not according to Hanafis. If there's a need, a darura, then yes, from the other madhabs we can take that. Fatima, wa alaikum assalam, wa rahmatullahi wa jannah, wa alaikum assalam. Is it permissible to take out a cat insurance if it brings me huge benefits like paying much lesser surgery bills? If there's a very good chance that that specific breed of cat will get those kind of problems, possibly. Yeah, possibly. Have you got any videos explaining the difference, all the ways the words connect in Arabic? I haven't done a long, exhaustive series. I've got my series of 10 videos I've made on the ones you've probably seen it on my YouTube channel. The what was it called? The Quran words. I can't remember what I called it now. I made it so long ago. Yes, I've got that series. Muhammad, alaikum assalam. I'm watching from South Africa. My name is Muhammad. Welcome, my brother Muhammad. Ahlan wa sahlan. Oh, brother Muhammad, do I have to put topi on? Only joke. I think sometimes when South Africans come on, they kind of get a bit upset when I don't wear topi on my head. So if I just all of a sudden put a topi on my head, then you know. Darb was safe for riqab. Darb, is it with a dad or dal? Are halal brows allowed changing the color of unwanted hair? Yes, I wouldn't see a problem with that. You just start a Patreon, yeah. I think I'm gonna do that. So what I'll do maybe is I'll look into it in the next few weeks or so. And then maybe do something like that, and then I can focus on certain projects. I would ideally love to make, just like I'm making my videos of Kuduri and all these videos, I would like to make one in Arabic, just in Arabic, where I explain everything in Arabic, but slow Arabic. Not too slow, but slow enough for people to grasp. Do you teach online currently? Not one-to-one, unfortunately. Sorry, brother. Walaikum. Can women bleach eyebrows? I wouldn't see a problem with it. Alaikum. So my mom says hello to her. Hope you well. Say hello to her from me. Ask her how she is. Halal brows allowed change. I think he asked that already. This guy's gonna keep asking. Looking good, mashallah. Thank you very much. I actually just went to sleep just for a little while, just before I came here. I just knocked out a bit. Little nap. So you can see the kind of sleepiness. I've been doing garden work, so the smoke from the fire got into my lungs, coughing it up. Wa alaikum assalam, Paul. Ahlan wa sahlan. Can women get butt implants even after trying hard to get? I don't know what that is. Which I don't know what that is, brother. Sheikh, what is your thoughts on Mu'jam al-Ishtiqaqi? Very, very good. I used to read it a lot. Mu'jam al-Ishtiqaqi is one of the books I used a lot when I made my series on in-depth words of the Quran. Sheikh, I watched your videos since I was 14, 15 years old. I learned a lot of things from you. May Allah bless you. Ameen. Jazakallah khair. Jannah. May Allah bless you. I took a student loan years ago. Is it permissible to pay back with riba? I mean, if that's part of the agreement that you made, that so you will have to pay back the capital, of course. That you will have to pay. And if you've agreed now to pay the riba and you've got no other choice, I assume you don't really have a choice now. It's just going to be paid back. Wa alaikum assalam. How do you study fiqh and revise fiqh, as there are so many masa and things to remember in Nur Zak Isha, for example? Nur Zak Isha. Wait, sorry, but I think your keyboard writing is worse than mine. How do you study fiqh? Okay, so when you want to learn fiqh, the main thing you have to understand in fiqh is understanding is the most important thing. Memorization is second. Understanding is the most important thing. So what that basically means is that what you have to do is you have to try and map out. So get a big piece of paper, and every time you learn something, try to draw out that masala in a small summarized way. And then as you do the whole chapter, all the masail will come in front of you. And that way you'll start to memorize them. It's my first time in Sheikh's videos. Sheikhuna, do you have a WhatsApp group whereby you're teaching? No, I don't have any WhatsApp groups, unfortunately. My teaching groups. Do apologize. I think a lot of people ask if the thing was, I have a Telegram group, but it's only a one-way Telegram group where I just put my broadcasts up. That's all. Otherwise, I don't really have interactive one. Interactive, I don't have. The thing is, because I don't really have time. Sometimes when people are asking you questions and back and forth, and it takes a lot of my day. So unfortunately, that kind of way of communication is very difficult for me. I mean, I only have that for like some special students of mine. So the place I teach at Sufa Institute. Do you know the book Mukhtarat? Yes. If so, you know what would be a book which is one step before it? Currently studying Mukhtarat, but I'm finding it quite difficult. So what I would suggest, because the thing with Mukhtarat is they come out with various different types of Arabic. So what you can do is, I would say, start off with something like, in fact, what I'll do is I'll give you a list, my brother Burhan. So this is a, where is it? Okay. So this is a series of books I've got. If you look in this file, you'll find one called, you'll find a book in there, or a series of books called Madarij al-Qira'ah. Yeah, and those are very good, I would say. Check those out. My mom said you're an arsonist, like baby was. That's it. I got it from her. Innit? Tell her I got it from her. Wa alaikum assalam. Taslim. Can men wear chains? Not according to the Hanafi madhab. Not as jewelry, unless they're locked up in prison. I'm studying Arabic in the University of Venice, first year. Thank you for your videos. You're welcome, Alia. You're welcome. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome. If you don't make intention to fast before Fajr, can you still wake up in the morning to decide? So as long as it's a Nafal fast or Ramadan fast, it's fine. Can women thread the eyebrows? So the issue would be that as long as it's not thinning them, so as long as it's just fixing them up, giving them a shape which is not thinning. Alaikum assalam, AB, mashallah, my brother. Welcome, bro. What do I do while in masjid? I must walk in front of musallis. In haram, yes, you can walk in front of them. In haram, it's allowed. I thought Kuduri was a book students memorize. No, no, it's not. Kuduri is actually a book of understanding. Originally, in the olden days, scholars used to test scholars in their understanding of Kuduri. Yeah, so it's understanding. I think there has been like this, unfortunately, shift in culture in madrasas where more focus is put on memorization of Kuduri rather than understanding it. So every masala of Kuduri, it's packed with principles and concepts of the madhab. If the teacher explains it, the teacher should explain the concepts that are underpinning them. And that's how you go through each masala. Is it preferred to pray on hard ground without a mat? Yes, totally permissible. But for example, if there are many things to remember in wudu, for example, like mandub, sunan, one might understand it, but how do? So what you can do, brother, is if you Google the memory palace, Google memory palace, and you'll find people have done videos on how to memorize through the memory palace. That's a very good way of memorizing things. I use that with my students as well. Is suhbat al-awliya vital for tulab al-ilm? Definitely. Suhbat of ulama, suhbat of pious is very important. Yeah, definitely. Jazakallah khair. May Allah reward you as well, brother. Wa alaikum assalam. Spend ahlan wa sahlan. Sorry for no problem. Also, currently studying Durus al Balagha. Are there any books which are like I'rab al Quran for Balagha? I don't understand. Are you looking for a Balagha book that goes through I'rab? Is that what you're asking? How can we book in your 6th December course? Can you share? Inshallah, my brother. Inshallah. By the way, guys, in the 6th of December, I'm going to be doing a course about marriage in Islam. Yes, and I'll be going through things like preparing for marriage, and then if you person gets married and there's a divorce, what happens? So I'll be inshallah covering those on the 6th of December in Asufa. Inshallah, my brother Tyson, I will put something up, inshallah. You can clean up areas around the brows, yes. I am struggling with waswasa splashbacks while using the toilet. Any advice? What I would suggest, anyone who suffers from waswasa, try to get in contact with someone that can slowly help you on the way, right? Because waswasa requires someone to slowly be there and answer their questions. The main thing in waswasa, if someone suffers from waswasa, they do not follow the normal fiqh, right? They follow a fiqh of they follow a fiqh of the ease for them. This is especially for them, people who suffer from waswasa. So when it comes to splashbacks, ignore the splashbacks. Even if they come on you, ignore them. I would like to know how can I combine more salah because I work and study. So according to the Hanafi school, there is no combination of salats. We do not combine salats. But according to the Shafi madhab and Maliki madhab, there's combination. What I would suggest, sister, is contact a Shafi scholar and ask them, inshallah. I'm not trained in the Shafi school. لم أفهم سيدي إنجازية. عفوا حبيبنا، أنا لا أستطيع أن أتكلم باللغة العربية عبر البث المباشر لأن أكثر المشاهدين لا يفهمون العربية، فأنا مضطر إلى التكلم باللغة الإنجليزية. Ramo, Ustad AB brought me here. MashaAllah, Ustad AB, well done. How many major sins are there? Allah knows best. Inshallah. What does Islam say about anger? It depends what part of anger. Can you be more specific, Ramo? So I have to pray the salah at time. I will do my best, inshallah. What you also can do is when one salat's about to finish. So for example, let's say Dhuhr salat is about to finish at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, and Asr salat starts at 4. You can pray right at the end of one time and the start of another time. يا شيخ تحدثوا باللغة العربية قليل. نعم إن شاء الله، لكن اليوم أنا لا أستطيع معذرة لأني اليوم السبت واليوم الجمعة خصصته للأجوبة عن الأسئلة للمشاهدين. I just can't grasp the atrocity. I don't know what you're on about. Why do Shias curse Hazrat Aisha when she is in? So what I would suggest, Paolo, is there is a very good book that I would recommend for you to read. Right, a very good book for you to read. In fact, if you go onto this website, this is a very good website, and this has a lot of the answers. So obviously, in 2 minutes, you can't really answer questions in 2 minutes. So this is books regarding answering the Shia claims. We'll have a look at Memory Palace, inshallah. But is it enough to just learn the Masail and then keep going over them without memorizing? Yes, inshallah. I wouldn't see a problem with that. Why can't we combine the prayers if Deen is made easy for us, regardless of? So I've actually done a series on the madhabs, this whole concept of madhabs. Yeah, the whole concept of madhabs. I've talked about that. And the issue with regard is this: look, the whole point of a madhab is you rely upon trust. Like it's like going to the doctor for medicine. You can go to any doctor you want. So for you people can follow any scholar you want. You go to a scholar, but you have to ask them your masala. You have to go to someone who you trust and ask them. Whatever answer they give, you can follow that. So for the general lay public, there isn't a madhab specified. But me, as someone who's a training in a madhab, I have to answer only through the madhab. I can't answer to anything I like. So it's like, for example, a lawyer in the UK. It's like a doctor who has to give answers according to the training that they've been given. Otherwise, the deen will become a game. People will mess around with the deen, play around. And this is what the scholars have warned about, where people begin to play around with the deen and take rulings from anywhere without there having a structure for it. That is the most important thing in ijtihad. There has to be a structure. So the average person might say the deen is easy, but then it's like saying medicine's easy. If someone comes to you who's got cancer, why don't you give the easiest? Why don't you give the easiest treatment? So it doesn't work like that. Is it permissible to trim the beard under the lip? Possibly the anfaqaya. Is it sinful to delay Maghrib just before Isha without a good reason? Possibly. Yeah. How do you read books, tips for beginners, be it Sira, history, etc.? It depends what kind of books I read. I make lots of notes. That's the thing. I make notes. I summarize a lot. Right. So if I read a few pages, I look at some important points, highlight them, and then make a summary of those points. And I have separate summarization. And I will read in stage. Like I'll read every 20 minutes, 25 minutes, have a rest. So make sure when you're reading, you don't just carry on reading for hours. So if I'm reading for 2 or 3 hours, I'll break it up into portions. Is there content taking rukhsa from other madhab? Yes, if there is a need for it. Ya Allah. Panda, welcome, alaikum assalam. Hope you're well. Will you ever do courses on life of the Prophet sallallahu or work on others? Yes, I have done them in the past. Yeah, I have done them in the past. But yes, in the future, I will, inshallah. Is that what you want, Panda? Alaikum assalam. If Imam does not pray loud in Maghrib, is the namaz accepted? If he does not pray loud, as in no one can hear him, like not even if someone was sitting next to him, they could not hear him, then the salat will be done, but he should have done sajda sahu. Watching movies. If the movie contains something which is impermissible to look at and listen to, you're not allowed to watch it. How do you, what's the best way to understand ilm al-kalam, as I find it difficult to understand these hot topics? So what have you studied, John Adams? What have you studied so far in ilm al-kalam? If you tell me what you've studied, then I'll be able to tell you. What's the best way to remember things I learn in class even years after I learn it? So the thing about memory is this: memory is considered to be like a muscle. If you don't use it, you're going to forget it. So you have to keep going over things. I have to keep going over things I learned multiple times. I forget so much things. So imagine it's like you're carrying a big trolley of things, and as you're putting new things in, other things are falling out. So if you don't keep going over it, you will start forgetting. What book do you recommend for students of knowledge who are already studying Arabic? So what I would suggest for students of knowledge who are already studying Arabic is read as many story books as you can. Honestly, I don't know why students of Arabic grammar just study grammar nonstop. You have to read lots of books. If you study 1 hour of Arabic grammar, you should be reading about at least an hour or two of Arabic reading, without a joke. Yeah, because it's pointless. Yeah, it's pointless because you're not going to be able to. It's like learning Japanese grammar, but you're not reading Japanese newspapers or Japanese articles or Japanese books. That's the biggest problem that students have. They don't immerse themselves in the language, and then they'll study Arabic grammar for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and they still struggle with regards to it. They'll struggle. Okay, tamheed, yeah. So, I mean, that should be fine then. What I would suggest is, in like ilm al-kalam, before you study ilm al-kalam, try to understand the history of ilm al-kalam and the reasons why arguments came up. This is very important as well. The reasons why arguments came. So, for example, understand the rise of the Mu'tazila. Why did the Mu'tazila appear for? And what were their arguments? So, once you understand the history, it helps a lot in understanding the Masail. Because a lot of the Masail are simply a result of the historical events that took place. Uh, I've been compiling all the gems you've mentioned in Telegram since you created. Wow, subhanallah. Yeah, share it with me. I don't know how much of them will actually be useful, but Jazakallah khair. Yeah, email it to me, inshallah. I like that. Are you aware of any mantiq books with tamreen exercises? There are quite a few out there. Yeah, there are quite a few out there. There's one mantiq book. I can't remember if I mantiq. Do I have? If you email me in the week, inshallah, I will tell you maybe it's on my laptop. Mantiq. Al-Mujaz fil Mantiq, yeah. Yeah, there's Al-Mujaz fil Mantiq, there's Durus al-Mantiq, and Al-Wadih fil Mantiq. Yeah, so these are 3 books. If you email me, inshallah, I will send you them. But even if the treatment cancer is easier, it's still within the realms of ailment, just like the opinions from the madhahib. If muhakkikun like Ibn Hajar or Albani deem it correct, is it okay? So this is the issue, isn't it? The issue is that they have said regarding a particular issue, the layperson, like the Quran says, "Fas'alu ahla dhikr." You are obliged to ask an expert. So as long as you ask an expert, like I said earlier on, you can follow them. But you can't just read it up. You can't just read what Ibn Hazm rahimullah said, or you can't just read what Dawood al-Zahiri said, or you can't just read what Sheikh Albani said. You have to be able to ask a living scholar of these, just so that you're not playing around with your deen. Yeah, you're not playing around with your deen, because if you find out that you have been messing around with your deen, you've just been taking opinions from here and there. This is again something which the Prophet ﷺ got upset at when the Sahaba they gave their own opinion, and the Prophet ﷺ said, "Qatalakumullah, qataltum sahibakum." You killed your companion. May Allah kill you. Wa alaikum assalam, TMZ. I will be doing private one-to-one studies with specialized teachers. I have 20 hours a week. How should I organize the science and when should I? So, what are you going to be studying? If you tell me what you're going to be studying, I can tell you then, inshallah. Tamheed by Lamashi. I find the topics very confusing and talking about Mu'tazila while they don't exist now feels. Yeah. So, when I teach Aqidah, this is what I do when I teach Aqidah Tahawi or anything like that. First of all, I teach the history. I show students how history came about and how Qadariya and Jabariya and how certain factions in the early years were influenced by Christian theology and the Mu'tazila's appearance, and then Khawarij, and then Shia. And then students become more interested in it as well. Otherwise, Ilm al-Kalam is a very dry subject. It's very abstract, right? So it's not like fiqh where you can actually have, some like physical, tangible application of it in the real world. It's very abstract. So what I would suggest is to start off with something like that, right? And then you'll start understanding concepts of why there was a debate. Because if you think about it, Ilm al-Kalam is only really a science which is rationalizing certain concepts. There are certain concepts. Otherwise, the rest of it, Aqidah is Aqidah. Whatever the Quran came down with, that's what we have to believe in. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I went to Darul Uloom and didn't study mantiq. Have I missed out? Not really, no. I mean, it depends. Uh, it depends what you're interested in. That's the thing. If you are interested in going into falsafa, mantiq, and books like that, um, ilm al-kalam, then you probably will need mantiq. And if you're not interested in that, if you don't read that kind of stuff, then you won't need it. Okay, I mean, just as in general based knowledge, even in English, what the best topics to start with as someone who's already reading Arabic books? Oh, general knowledge books. General knowledge books, you can start off with things like, it depends what you want. Do you want books on productivity? Do you want books on time management? Do you want books on when it comes to working um, more efficiently? Is that kind of books you want, or you want more Islamically oriented books? If you want more Islamically oriented, I would say start off with history. Read something like Islamic Lost History, The Lost History of Islam. That's a very good book to start with. Can you share emails at the bottom there? So there should be email there. Email, inshallah. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Why can't we read it up? So the issue with reading it up is this: we don't know exactly. So when a scholar in the past writes something in their book, we don't know exactly whether that opinion is a verified opinion, because opinion can only be verified if it has been demonstrated, number one, and if it has been contested by others and it's come out as being good. So sometimes a scholar might have an opinion. Like, for example, Sahaba have opinions on certain things, but the problem with taking that particular opinion is that we don't know if that person has retracted their opinion or if that opinion has been tested. So you can find Ibn Hazm's opinion, like I said, you can find these opinions in books, but just picking opinions from books, it goes against. So if you study in Darul Uloom, you know very well that studying knowledge is not simply just copy and pasting from a book. It's about whether honestly from your heart, and you can ask Allah on the day of Qiyam, or Allah can ask you, did you really believe that this opinion was a strong opinion? What steps did you take to verify this ilm as well? Imagine Allah asks this question. This is what you should be able to, this is what I would say you should be able to answer. Otherwise taking anyone's opinion, what's the point of studying ilm then? Yeah, there is no verification, there's no due diligence or anything like that, and this goes against the whole concept of scholarship, academic scholarship. What's a good book that tells you exactly the incidents or history of what made the scholars dislike and criticize the methodology of Abu Hanifa? I mean, you want like scholars who have written against him. So Imam Bayhaqi wrote quite a bit against him. There's a book called Ta'nib al-Khatib by Sheikh Zaid al-Kawthari, where he collects statements that were collected by Khatib al-Baghdadi. So that's quite good as well. You can look at that. There was a scholar, Ibn Qutaybah, in the 300s. He's written quite a lot against Abu Hanifa as well. I don't know which sciences to study. I know I will start Nahwu, Sarf, Balagha. So you're going to start from scratch then? Is that what you're going to do? You start from scratch here? So if you're going to start from scratch, I would say start off with something like Nahwu al-Wadih. And Nahwu al-Wadih, or maybe like or something more advanced than that, and Nahwu al-Arabi. Start with that. Basic. Sarf, I don't really know exactly which book Sarf that teacher will be comfortable teaching with. Yeah. So you can ask them whatever they're comfortable with. It depends. Scholars differ on Sarf. Balagha, you can start off with something basic like Durus al-Balagha, Nahwu al-Balagha al-Wadiha. These are like very basic books you can start off with. I don't prefer these kind of books. I have my own Balagha notes. I have my own Balagha course. I've made my own notes that just focuses purely on the Quran. What are you drinking today? Today, this is some, what is it? Turkish tea. I'm very good, my brother Ali Akmal Qadri. What would impermissible look and listen to? Music, explicit music that person is listening to. Like as in music that they're directly listening to for the purpose of the music. Like a concert or something. And nakedness. صباح الخير أهلا وسهلا أهلا وسهلا مرحبا أهل إندونيسيا مرحبا. Double shadow opinion. I don't understand. Or double shadow opinion? Is that a question? Is that a statement? When two atheists who just live together but never married convert to Islam, do they have to do nikah? Yes. So there has to be a contract of nikah that took place somewhere in their life. So it wouldn't be sufficient just for them to live together. So alaikum assalam, my brother Salah, ahla wa sahlan. Guys, make special dua for our brother Salah's mother. And make special dua, guys, for our Muslim brothers and sisters in Sudan as well. Very, very sad to hear the news coming from there. Can we give sweets to the kids? I wouldn't see a problem with it. I wouldn't see a problem. Because obviously giving sadaqah to people, whatever intention they came with, and whatever intention you give it with, inshallah, is going to be according to that. How does one enjoy reading books? I find after a long day of class and takrar, I don't want to. Yeah, what you can do, what I do is this. I have a project for myself. So I might have, let's say, I have to write a paper, or I have I don't know, I'm going to write something I'm going to put on my social media, or have a course coming up. And that way it motivates me what to write. So one thing you can do is that. Second thing you can do is the night before, plan in your head what you need to do tomorrow, what you need to read. And just read like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. That's it. Do not read too much, otherwise you get burnout. Yeah, burnout. And if you're already studying a madrasa, then you don't do too much reading. Focus on your madrasa studies first of all, because otherwise it sounds as though you're just forcing yourself to do it. Don't do it. You have to read with passion. Wa alaikum assalam. What's the Islamic ruling on abortion? Not allowed, unless there is a dire need for it. Sheikh, why is I would say speak to a scholar about, if someone has an issue, they speak to a scholar case by case. The scholar can give them an answer. Sheikh, why is smoking haram when there is no nas for it? Smoking is not haram. According to Hanafis, if it is something which obviously, anything which harms your health, according to Hanafi fiqh, anything that harms your health is going to be sinful to consume. So if it's going to harm your health on a short-term basis, then it's sinful, like eating poison. Now, because the WHO has done extensive studies in this, and it's now categorical without a doubt that smoking harms your health without a doubt, therefore there will definitely be some sin attached to it if a person does it regularly. If it's just one-off, that's different. But if it's done regularly, then this is why it's considered to be sinful, because of the harms it has on your health. Now, someone says, okay, but then cholesterol, fat, eating fatty food. Yes, but that's a long-term harm. Long-term harm is different, right? But this way, studies have been done on short-term. So if someone has a heart problem and the doctor says you're not allowed to eat fried food and things like that, then for them it'll be sinful to eat these kind of foods if there's a very good chance that it's going to harm their health. MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair, my brother Yusuf. MashaAllah, one of my earliest friends. Out of all you guys, I probably know Yusuf the earliest. May Allah bless you, your family, guys. Make special dua for our brother Yusuf. Allah give him barakah in his wealth and health and time. And we need to catch up, Yusuf. It's been a very long time. Overdue, bro. Alaikum salam. Do you know Yusuf Mullan's Arabic course? I don't know his course. I've heard about his course. It's very expensive, but it's worth it in terms of structure. I don't know personally. I've heard a lot of people have benefited a lot from it. But not to say that everyone benefits from it. So I've heard people who say they've helped them a lot. But again, look, the main thing is this. Look, if you're not studious, you are not going to benefit from any course. If you are studious, you will benefit from courses. So you have to have that focus in your life, dedication. A course will not make a person an amazing scholar. It's they themselves make a person an amazing scholar. You have to remember that. You have to be the one dedicated. You have to be the one. You can't just say to yourself, if I go to Cambridge, will I come out really good? You might not. There's loads of people who go Cambridge, drop out. Lots of people go to Oxford and drop out. So you have to be dedicated, Enes. There's grammar errors in your bio. Yeah, I know. They're deliberately there. There's actually a thing on social media is where basically you deliberately put errors inside your videos and things so people comment more. Yeah. Jazakallah khair majhul for pointing them out. Sheikh, put a mask on or something. The noor is blinding. Allah, bro. So that's it, man. That's the noor of the falcon lights. Call these falcon lights. Sheikh, cover head when using lute. I don't understand. Is that a question? Are you one of those people who just ask random? I studied and teach Arabic. It should be I studied and taught. Yeah. I do apologize. So these kind of things I deliberately put it in there um, because first of all I have a limited number of characters I can use. So I thought about putting taught, but teach is shorter and it actually fits it. So I have to be very, very, very stingy with the amount of letters and words I have. Moderator, baby, why did you mute him for? You didn't say anything wrong. He was correcting me. He was correcting when he had the manners. Unmute him, bro. He's a good guy. Just felt like proper naughty man. What is a field or issue that has lack of books written about it and students of knowledge today, but write and publish? I don't know, I mean, I think maybe something on usul of Quran probably. I don't know because I haven't read all the I haven't become exposed to all the works out there. So I don't really look into translations. Yeah, I don't know. What I would suggest is there needs to be a genre of sharah which is easier for students to understand. I think there should be a commentary for Quduri, a very easy Arabic commentary for Quduri. There should be like very easy commentary for Usul Shashi, very easy commentary in Arabic. So I have this dream in my head. I want to write a commentary on Quduri, but easy Arabic, and just explain the masala. No dalils or things like that. Just explain it in Arabic and Usul Shashi, and maybe in ayats of the Quran, and maybe other subjects as well. So I think this kind of thing is important because it gets students into the habit of getting accustomed to Arabic language. What do you guys think about them? Can you interpret dreams? No. I only interpret dreams for people who are close to me. I don't interpret random people's dreams. I think I need to charge. If I charge for interpreting dreams, how many people would ask me to interpret dreams? Maybe we can split the money, yeah. But I don't do it because the thing about interpreting dreams for me is this: I have to know a lot of intimate things about a person. I mean, this is how it works. It's like a doctor. If you go to a doctor and you say to a doctor, "I've got this pain in my stomach. Can you help me?" The doctor's going to ask you a whole load of questions. He wants to look at your history record, everything, because the dream impacts or reflects things in your life. Sometimes people ask me dreams and they say to me, "Oh, Sheikh, can you interpret?" And then when I interpret and things come out, I think they get a bit embarrassed because in the dream certain things appear to me, and I realize that person didn't really want that thing to be exposed. So these kind of things, I think people I don't like doing unless I know the person very well. Do you know anyone reliable? No, unfortunately, I don't. I seen your stuff very good. You like it? Yeah, Jazakallah khair, my brother. Jazakallah khair. Can a woman show her mother her hair if she is non-Muslim? Yes, inshallah. Gave you studied Musab, you studied Qiraat? No, I haven't studied Qiraat. Is Mufti Abu Layth a credible scholar? Only asking because a lot of youth bring his name up. In the Maliki madhab, from what I've heard from people, he was reliable at one point. And then after that, he came out with opinions that were very strange. And even Malikis said that he's coming out with very. So this is why, according to listening to what they said, I would not ask him those kind of questions. Yeah. So the thing about any scholar is this: look, if you want to know about any scholar, you ask people around them. You ask other scholars that know them very well about the opinion about the ilm. That's the thing. He is very, very able scholar. I mean, Hafiz of Quran as well, and study. But the only thing is, I'm uncomfortable with is that he came out with very strange opinions in the last, 5 or 6 years, which were very, very problematic, extremely problematic. The thing is, end of the day, you want to trust someone. You want to. You don't just want to ask someone for the sake of it. You want to ask someone for the sake of Allah. That on the day of Qiyamah, will you be able to say to Allah, Ya Allah, I trusted this person with my whole heart. I honestly trusted this person. And I thought this person was going to give me answers that were going to guide me towards Jannah. Is it permissible for a woman to show her hair to disbelieving mother? According to Hanafi school, they say no. But according to other schools, I would say this. If we look at this masala as being that in the olden days, the prohibition of showing it to disbelieving women was because that they would go and tell their husbands and men about what the woman looks like, because they would have no limits, no moral limits in their particular community, in their understanding. As Muslims, they have limits. So a Muslim woman's not going to go to her husband and say, you know, my friend Fatima, her hair's like this and her body shape's like this. So I would say in today's times, if it is like that and they know that the women are not going to do that, then it's possible. Science books, not books, e.g., focus on one science at a time with a teacher or focus on two. I would say, how much can you focus on without getting burnt out? When should one begin their usul fiqh studying their journey after a few books? I would say they can start their studies after they've studied at least one book of fiqh. Yeah, especially mu'amalat. After they have studied mu'amalat, you must study mu'amalat, nikah, talaq, buyu first before you go into usul fiqh. Wa alaikum assalam, my brother Muhammad, ahlan wa sahlan. Is it necessary to get rid of all nasal mucus and snots from the nose completely when doing obligatory ghusl? Not necessary, no. If you follow the early time for Asr Sahibain as a Hanafi and one day miss a Zuhr, do you do qada or follow double shadow opinion? So if it's out of necessity, then you can do it later on, inshallah. The masla is not strict in the Hanafi madhab, as in you can't do this, you can't do this. Right? Both opinions are attributed to Abu Hanifa. The two shadows one is much more stronger. So, I mean, if one situation comes and you find it very difficult, then taking that would be a permissible. I wouldn't see a problem with it. When will we do this podcast on mapping Quran? Yeah, I know. We need to do it, bro. Don't worry. With your French accent, I'm sure loads of people would love to listen to your French accent. What about kids dressing up to go trick or treating? I would say no. I would say because trick or treating is a lot about satanic, demonic, these kind of things. If it was to do with this, if they dressed up in this way, then no, absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of attachment towards demonic things, and these kind in Islam, there's a lot of emphasis on staying away from demonic things as well. Anything that's associated with shaitan, this is the practice of shaitan that comes in hadith. So these kind of things we should encourage our children to stay away from this. That we know demonic things are considered to be wrong. Is abortion of permissible 40 days due to hadith? Technically, no, because this is like called the wa'ad al-khafi. The Prophet called it the wa'ad al-khafi. The wa'ad means like the burying the infant girls. So no, unless there is a reason. I know there's some scholars have actually written on this today, Sheikh Salman Yunus. But the severity of the reason before 40 days would be less. All right, AB and Hussam Ali, mashallah, having your own conversation, yeah? You're living rent free on my live stream. عليكم السلام. أريد أتعلم إنجليزية. أهلا وسهلا مرحبا. What advice would you give to Dawra students who want to teach maktab after graduating? Good. If you want to teach it, teach it. There's a lot of need for teaching kids, alhamdulillah. But what I would say is this: do not let your years of studying books go to waste. What happens to some people is they graduate from madrasa, they spend 10, 15, 20 years just teaching kids. They don't teach any of these books, and then all of what they've learned over the years just disappears. They find it very hard to get back into their books. So what I would suggest is teach kids, but also teach big books as well. Nahu and Sarf and Fiqh and Usul. I like the way you teach us Arabic language. Thank you. You're welcome, Amina. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Sorry, man. No problem, bro. Don't worry. You can pay me. You can pay me rent later. Is tajdeed and nikah mustahab without shak? And what is their shak? I don't understand. Can you explain? Is it permissible to play games like Ludo? I wouldn't see a problem with it as long as it does not stop you from your obligations in Islam. As long as it's not involved gambling, and as long as there's no foul language and fighting and things like that. What's the ruling of the beard in the Hanafi madhab? As in, how long it should be? Is that what you're asking? How long it should be? There's a difference of opinion. Have you read or heard of the new Shara of Tirmidhi by Mullah Abdul Mateen? Yes, alhamdulillah. I've got the first 10 volumes, alhamdulillah. Very good. I would say it is very, very good. Like, honestly, mashallah, is done a fantastic job. If cannabis oil, which has the intoxicant part removed, is allowed, would khamr that has the intoxicant taken out? The problem is the difference between cannabis and khamr is this. Khamr, once it becomes khamr, it's najis. So even if you take out the intoxicating part, the najasa is still there. That's the problem. Unless it transforms into another substance, like if you carry on boiling it and it becomes vinegar or it becomes molasses. Whereas cannabis oil, it's not considered najis in and of itself. So removing the THC from it would not have any effect on the status of its purity. Okay, what is the ruling on bay'ah to a pious individual? It's permissible. Yeah, if a person wants to do it, fine. It's basically trying to get yourself a personal trainer, spiritual personal trainer. Totally permissible. Yeah, the Sahaba would sometimes go to each other and like make a vow and say, "Look, I promise to you that I will do tawbah to Allah. I promise to you I will not do this sin again." That's permissible. Is there any evidence? Yes, permissible. I mean, there doesn't need to be evidence in and of itself for something to be permissible, as long as it's not proved that it's impermissible. He studied from Benuri Town, though. Who? Oh, sorry, he said Benuri Town. No, sorry, I can't remember who you're talking about. I know Abu Layth. No, he didn't study there. He studied in a different place. It had a similar name. It's called Benuriya. So basically, Benuri Town is a famous institute. There was a break-off shoot that's separated from it. And it had the same name, but there's a totally different institute. It's like, for example, imagine Oxford University has another university in a different part of the UK. It breaks off from it. And it has the same name as it, but it does not have anything else associated to it. Is the prayer at home with congregation, wife, kids more rewarding than praying alone at home? Yes. Did he not back those problematic opinions though? For example, Nuzul Isa. Would rejecting this time? No, it's not kufr. But it goes against the majority, isn't it? It goes against the majority, and then I mean, like opinions, like with regards to Maryam alayhi salam, yeah, and things like that. I don't want to talk about these kind of things. I don't think it's appropriate to talk about this. If you want, you go and ask him. If you're not comfortable with him, then that's fine. Man khalafa urifa. My body shape has been quite round lately. Kya baat. Yeah. Yudar al-hukm alayhi, like they say. Yudar al-hukm alayhi. Can a man remove hair from his entire body? Yes, technically, but the beard, apart from the beard. Wa alaikum assalam. The French accent isn't available. I'll do my best, inshallah. So how many years later after the Prophet ﷺ demise did the hadith come in book form? If there was, what I would suggest, if you want to read about this, there's a very, very, very good book about this. Yeah. So on the website I mentioned, there is a book by Sheikh Ahmed Sanobar about the compilation of hadith. The original book is called Min al-Nabi al-Bukhari. The Arabic is called Min al-Nabi al-Bukhari. In the English, I think it's called the Sunni integrity of Sunni tradition. And there's a book on the history of hadith studies by Sheikh Muhammad Azami, Muhammad Mustafa Azami. And he actually goes through. I've been through like about this week. I was going through the book, and I've been through about 3/4 of it. And honestly, he does a very detailed, because he responds to Shaht. So these Orientalists that brought up this claim that the hadith were collected later and there's discrepancies and there's problems with all of this, and he answers all of them very solid. And this is important. Anyone who graduates from madrasa, the sad thing is madrasas unfortunately have now become places where, in many places, not all madrasas, where unfortunately they lock the students off from what's happening in the contemporary world. So students are in a bubble. They don't know what's happening. They don't know the arguments. They don't know the problems of the real world. And they're studying books which have been written hundreds of years ago only, without implementing them into the real world. And this is what students need: enrichment. They need to be aware of what's happening. If they're in the UK, they need to know the problems of the UK. They need to know about feminism and all the isms out there that are necessary for today's times. And they need to know about Orientalism especially. Once a scholar graduates, does he have to teach because otherwise he would lose ilm? Yes, I would say 100%. Have you heard or read the works of Sheikh Maulud Sariri? No, I haven't. I've seen a few of his videos. How can a student plan their next steps after graduating from madrasa? So what I would suggest is look into what you can go into. What are you interested in? That's more important. So if you're interested in teaching, if you're interested in further studies, if you're interested in consultation, alimiya alongside maktab, yes. Can you invest in stocks as long as the stocks are halal stocks? Yeah. Is perfume with alcohol in it najis? No. What's your aqidah? My aqidah is the aqidah of Sahaba. What's your aqidah, Dawood? Now I know. Someone start asking people now. So people ask me, what's your aqidah? I'm asking them, what's your aqidah? Now I know some Arabic words and I can speak a little, mashallah. Welcome. Ahlan wa sahlan. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ya muallim. Ahlan wa sahlan, Piol. Ahlan wa sahlan, habibana. I think people who ask aqidah questions, it's like, well, you ask me the question, let me ask you the question. What's your aqidah? In the olden days, people used to give salam, isn't it? They say assalamu alaikum. Now it's like aqidah. Assalam aqidah. Aqidah alaikum. Why did Hazrat Umar not bring a pen and paper? Yeah, so this is explained in that book I mentioned to you about the Usul Ithna Ashariya, Madhab Ithna Ashariya. And in that website, Mahajja, has actually got a whole dedicated section on that. This is, again, why I would suggest Paulo, I don't know if that's your real name or not. So Paulo Enrique, what I would suggest, my brother, is don't go into Shia arguments. Honestly, do not go into anyone's arguments unless you're solid in your own arguments, because otherwise it just causes you doubts. Sadly, I've seen it in people. They like going into Salafi arguments and like going into Shia Qadiani argument, but they don't know their own. They're not solid in their own arguments. So if you study Dars in Nizami, you would know this hadith is in Bukhari, Sahih Bukhari, and maybe you can't remember the hadith properly or the explanation the teacher gave you. And then what happens is, now when you become exposed in the real world to this argument and you think, wait a minute, I can't remember studying this. And then they bring their own twist to it. This is like the atheist argument. The atheist brings a twist to how we explain something and then we get confused. So this is just generally for everyone, guys. Honestly, if you're studying in madrasa, if you make sure you're solid in what you're studying, 100% try your best to understand the Quran, every ayah of the Quran, every hadith that you study in Dawrah Hadith, every usul you study, make sure you understand it at a solid level. Because in the real world, when people bring objections against us, you will know, wait a minute, this is not our view. This is not our view. Our view is this. And if you're a scholar, then you should know, if you can't remember this masala, you should know where to look to get a response for it. Yeah, this is honestly very, very important, because, you know, I see this a lot. A lot of graduates, they don't have the knowledge, and they feel very, very lack of confidence in the real world. It's like they haven't even studied madrasa. And this is something, that's what I'm saying to you, that we need solid. So alhamdulillah, where I teach in a Sufa, we're actually changing that whole thing. So several years we've been focusing on this whole, trying to empower the student, give them the strength of Arabic, give them the ability to research, tahqiq. Madrasas don't have tahqiq, that's a problem. If you give a madrasa the ability to do research, solid research, what you're going to get at the end of it is students who know exactly where to look when to try and solve a problem. Now, some people say you shouldn't give students the ability to research because then they'll start coming out with strange opinions. But that's fine. That's what's going to happen. That's, insecurity in the teachers. Then that means the teachers themselves are scared of what's going to happen because they themselves might not be doing the proper research. They're just relying upon their teachers' notes and their teachers' notes and their teachers' notes. The whole point of a madrasa is you want to create someone that can protect Allah's deen. That's what you want. An alim is a soldier of Allah. That's what he is. And just like the soldier of the battlefield protects the borders of the country, the soldier of Allah, he protects the aqidah, belief system, yeah, all of that. So I think this is something which madrasas need to implement everywhere. They need to understand you don't just take fees off students and then just parrot the sarf and nahu and fiqh and aqidah until they qualify. This is a very big problem. And another big problem is madrasas in the UK, they start the alim course at the age of 13, 14, and that's I'm totally against that. I think that's very, very harmful. Maybe some of you guys disagree with me, maybe you agree with me. I don't know. Allah knows best. But that's my observations on this. Kalam Jamil getting into speak Arabic, sir. أهلا وسهلا حبيبنا. Ya Allah. Mustafa Azmi, excellent work on the history of Quranic revelation. Yeah, I haven't read that book. I've heard a lot about it. I read a few, like a couple of pages here and there, not in detail. Bay'ul Musarrat. So Bay'ul Musarrat basically is this: is let's say for example you have a goat. In the olden days, a goat used to be brought to the market to sell. So what they would do a couple of days before, they would tie the goat's udder until the udder would swell up and it looked as though it's got lots of milk in there. And then they would release it, take it to the market, and deceive people with this. And the Prophet ﷺ, a case came to him like this, and he told the guy, look, give the goat back, and any milk that you've taken out, give a handful of dates. It must be difficult to teach since there's not that many madaris. So there's a solution to this. The solution to this is, look, you don't need a madrasa to teach. You can teach people in your own community. And now with social media and online, you can teach people on Zoom. You can teach people on Google Meets. Just find someone, even if it's free of charge, one book a week, free of charge. Teach them it. It's going to give you experience. It's going to get you into the flow of things. And ask Allah. Allah will open doors for you. Yeah, Allah will open doors for you. I read that Khilafat cannot be passed down in hereditary. So why was you? I don't know. Allah Alam. Sheikh, I cannot remember the explanation or anything because we studied riwayat, and yeah, that's the thing. So all I would say is try to study again, honestly. Try to study again. The madrasa you studied at, maybe they didn't really think that it's important for students. They just thought maybe, you just need someone who's got some Islamic ethos in them. And they just put them through the system because they want them to have Islamic ethos rather than becoming a researcher. Is it halal for a man or woman to talk online about marriage if her wali doesn't know, but another woman, not a mahram, is? I would say possibly, yeah. Possibly. As long as it's a trustworthy woman and there is nothing, the chat that's taking place has nothing lewd in there, nothing flirting like that. Is it permissible to give your child two names? Yeah, it's permissible. I mean, I don't know why people do that. And I've seen people give three names. I don't know who's got three names here. I mean, I don't know. You need to ask your parents. Why did you give me three names for? Regarding a lot of our Bengali brothers and sisters, they have like a home name, a house name, and they have like an outside name. Regarding the Tadween of Sunnah, where should one start? Who are the best contemporary and classical? If you want Tadween of Sunnah, the best book that I've come across so far, which is very easy to read, is Sheikh Ahmed Sonobar's Min al-Nabi ila al-Bukhari. Then if you want another one, is a book called Tadween al-Hadith by Manad al-Ahsan Gailani. Manad al-Ahsan Gailani's book, I used to read that a lot. I love that book. I read the translation into Arabic. So one of my teachers, he translates into Arabic. It's Urdu originally into Arabic. If someone focused on research and writing articles, would that be a replacement to direct teaching? Possibly, yeah. Possibly. Yeah. What is the mu'tamad in the madhab regarding the maximum age of rada'a? 2 years, 2 years. Which should we follow? So 2 years, yeah. Alimia should be 10 years. It should begin the age of 18. 100%, I agree. At 16 is fine. 16 is fine. Can you please make dua, Sheikh, that I can utilize the knowledge I learned in Darul in my work? Me and you make dua for me as well, brother. All of us need dua. We need to help each other. That's the main thing. We need to help each other. All us graduates, we need to get together. We need to help each other. We need to network, see our weaknesses, how we can improve. If I make a mistake, you point it out to me, like that. I think this is probably the best way to go forward. Yeah. So we understand there's a team. There's a ummah, and then there's a ummah of ulama. That's what we need. What do you guys think? And with students who good academic performances. Ya Allah. Barakallah, Sheikh. I am interested in learning Arabic, but I don't know where to start. So I have a course, which is Quranic Arabic 17 lessons. It's on my uruk.com website. Uruk, UROOQ. Those of you on my TikTok, it's in my bio. In there's a course called Quranic Arabic 17 lessons. It's £50 for the course. If you're serious, inshallah, and you join that course, you will benefit, inshallah. Without a doubt, I've got hundreds of people who have done that course. Literally, without a doubt. Hundreds of people have done that course. They have benefited a lot from it, mashallah. Alaikum assalam. Can you do tarkeeb of the Quran? Yes. If you check my YouTube channel, I've done the tarkeeb of the whole of Surah Al-Qasas. Check that out. Favorite story about Imam Abu Hanifa? My favorite story about Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, might be I can't remember, I think there's some stories, but I don't know if they're made up or not. There's one story that I've heard, but I don't know how true it is that he was in prison and there was a Jew in the prison with him. And he debated the Jew and eventually convinced the Jew to actually implement Hanafi usul into the Jewish tradition. So this Jew, his name was Aaron, he came out with his own madhab in the Jewish tradition, and it was called the Qara'itis. In Arabic, it's Qurra'un. It's actually, there's books on this. I was surprised. I didn't know. How do you remember all the rules of Quduri? I've been teaching it for many years now. I have taught Quduri cover to cover for many years. So the thing is, anything you do multiple times, you will definitely remember it. So that's why when you guys look at me, you guys look at someone who, after 25 years of studying and teaching, you're looking at this person. And you might have only experience with Quduri for a few years. So if you had the same number of years that I have and you've been doing it, then inshallah, you'll be better than me, inshallah. Views on Malik bin Nuwaira, I don't know. Wallahu alam. How do I overcome my fears of others and only fear Allah? I have anxiety. Chill out. What you need to do about anxiety is you need to calm yourself down. The main thing is anxiety it's a human body reaction. It's your nervous system, it's your brain, it's your body. You need to calm your nerves down, calm your anxiety. Work on videos. Go onto YouTube, go onto TikTok, find videos that help you calm your anxiety. The fear of Allah comes into your heart when you love Allah. It's a bit strange understanding this, but when you understand who Allah is, you don't need to fear Allah. You don't need to create a fear. It's not like, you're scaring yourself with the dark or with the jinn. No. The fear of Allah basically means that you love Allah so much that you fear disobeying Him. That why did I disobey Him for? Why did I do this for? That's what the fear of Allah means. How to overcome fear of another man? I don't know. I think you need to ask psychologists about that. I think this TikTok thing you're doing allows the wider community to actually feel the mashayikh are accessible and not some bogeyman eating kheer and halwa. Actually, I might eat kheer and halwa tomorrow and drink chai. So, guys, tomorrow I have a talk in Burnley, and inshallah, I will. If you guys are there, I will see you guys there, inshallah. Wa alaikum assalam. T. Afandi, ahla wa sahlan. MashaAllah, T. Afandi, I read your manzuma. Very nice. Very nice. Maymunez quotes our Imam, to fear Allah is just like you don't want to disappoint him. Subhanallah. Like you don't want to disappoint parents. Do's and don'ts for Umrah. Do's and don'ts for Umrah, just don't break the rules of Ihram and do the tawafs and sa'i. There isn't really much to do in Umrah. The main thing I would say in Umrah is spend your time in Umrah as much as you can in the masjid and less time in the markets. Yeah, because you spend so much money. You can spend time in markets anywhere else around the world. What do you guys say? Okay, I am going to go in a bit, guys. I'm going to finish this because I've gone over my 1 hour time. It's like 1 hour, almost 20 minutes now. So I'm going to go. I'm feeling a bit tired as well. For witr, can you pray the 2 sunnahs after Isha and then 1 single rakat? Not according to Hanafi madhab, no. Sheikh, what does Allah say about prenups? So in the Quran, Allah does not mention about prenups per se. I mean, there are general rules that He allows. A prenup is basically a promise that person makes. So if anyone makes a promise, then the 2 parties that adhere to that promise, as long as it doesn't go against Islam, it should be adhered to, because Muslims must adhere to the promises that they make. This be a 3 rakat prayer after the 2 sunnah. Yeah, so witr has to be 3 witr altogether. When doing the walk to the Masjid Quba to attempt to attain the reward of an Umrah, is it just the case of making intention during wudu? Yeah, that's it. The shadows moving with the sun. How does this show their humility to Allah? Is this just not natural? Yeah. So so the thing about the natural world is this. What does sujood mean? Sujood means like for example, what does sitting mean? If I say the word sit, a human sits, a bird sits, a snake sits, possibly a fish even sits, but they do it in their own style. They do it in their own particular way. We eat, fish eat, bacteria eat. We have in a different style. So the sujood occurs in different creatures in different ways. Sujood, it means like to totally humble yourself. So everything in the creation is in absolute obedience to Allah, besides human beings in their actions. So the human beings themselves, they are the ones who have a choice to make, and jinn. So when the shadows they move, this is like the sajda for them. They are in obedience, direct obedience to Allah. And because it's done on the ground, there is a resemblance of the sajda as well, because sajda is on the ground. What is qaza haircut? According to Hanafis, shaving your whole head and leaving the patch of 3 fingers. So you put 3 fingers on your head and shave all around. That's qaza. Alaykum assalam. When the books of fiqh mention for someone to become ma'dhur, they can't keep wudu for a 4 rakat prayer. What sort of length would this be? So for the entire duration of one salat, they can't do that. Once they have for the entire duration of one salat, then after that, they just have to have the problem occur once in every salat time. That's it, just once. Isn't there a DUL board for new graduates where they specify the mentor? I have no idea. I've never come across it. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to stop it there. Yeah, Allah. Okay. Allah sends down rain from the sky, giving life to the earth after its death, a sign for those who listen. What is this a sign of exactly? Again, so this will answer a lot of the questions. When we talk about the universe, we live in the universe as though we are accustomed to everything. So we take it for granted. Like we see the sun rise for granted, and we see it set for granted, and we see the rain come down for granted. We don't really know the science behind it. The more we learn about the science behind it, the more we begin to ponder, why did this all happen for? And this is where it's a sign that connects us to the Creator. That's the sign. Yeah, so it's like let's say there's a child who's brought up in a very rich family, never has to work in his life, never has to clean his own shoes, never has to clean his own backside. Everything's done for him. So in this kind of situation, what would we say about this person? We would say that this is considered to be something which is out of the person ungratefulness. Now, if someone from a poverty-stricken area, tents in a slum, comes and just has a little taste of that guy's life, wow, look at what your parents do for you. Look at this, and he never thinks about that. He never thinks, what did my parents do for me? So you see the comparison between the two. So when a person who has not lived a life of recognizing Allah and then all of a sudden becomes a Muslim and sees all these things, goes, wow. And that's how the Sahaba were. The Sahaba were converts to Islam. So when they saw Islam from a life of shirk and paganism and all that, they began to appreciate everything. Allah says, just look at the sun, look at this, they would appreciate it. Is this meant to convince someone of God? I am bad for not reading this and not immediately pondering. Yeah, so that's the explanation. What you can do, go on to Sapiens Institute. They've got articles on the natural phenomenon that exists in the universe. Your usul fiqh course, is it a general breadth or usul fiqh? So it covers all the usul fiqh that you need to know to understand how to apply it to text. Is it true that Abu Hanifa spoke about praying in the sky as a hypothetical? Yeah. So again, I don't know if Abu Hanifa said it, but early Hanafis have mentioned it. Yeah. So they mention, like in the chapter of oaths, where if a person says, "Wallahi, I will pray in the sky, I will do this." I go to Jama'ah at the masjid, but I often find myself unable to keep wudu during it. Am I excused in this case? There are very short periods where I think I could keep my wudu for a short. If you feel as though it's very difficult, then you are an excused person. You can just do wudu, and then it will last you for the next salat, inshallah. Fatima, Jazakallah khair for time's energy and lesson. I like the teamwork. It will be much appreciated. Ameen. Jazakallah khair. Alaikum assalam. Which masjid in Burnley? What time? It's called Masjid Ibrahim. Maghrib time. Masjid Ibrahim. Is it required to do Hajj as soon as you have the means? Yes. James Corbett. I watched it. I've watched him before. I didn't know his name was James Corbett. I watched him like maybe, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago. Some videos that he did. Yeah. He's quite good. It's quite good. Very informative. I watched one. I remember it was about the Federal Reserve System. Yeah. So I did. What are the best questions to ask someone getting to know a female relative for marriage? Or whatever you want to ask. Don't ask me what I would ask. I probably would ask things maybe you wouldn't be interested in. The thing that you want to do is look, if you're going to get married, you need to think to yourself, what are the non-negotiables in my marriage? What are the non-negotiables, the things that cannot be negotiated, the fixed things in my marriage I need to have, right? And then you work around those. So you think to yourself, I'm going to live with someone. Do I want them to pray 5 times a day? Okay, that's a must. Okay, I want to live with someone. Do I want them to know how to cook? Right? That's a must then. For you, that's a must. Okay, I'm going to live with someone. Do I want someone who has a certain height? Then that's a must. These kind of things, whatever you want, that's your choice days. It's like you going to a shop. You have the choice of whatever you want to select. That's why. But then the other extra things, it's up to you. Okay. Abu Bakr, okay. Abu Bakr, the last one I will answer, and then the rest of them you can ask next week because you came a bit late. Allah guides whom He wills. I've heard some exegetes explain this as Allah guides those sincere on their quest for guidance. Where do exegetes and others get this from? So other verses of the Quran. وَيَهْدِي إِلَيْهِ مَنْ يُنِيبُ. Yeah, so Allah guides those people who turn towards Him. Yeah. So these verses that indicate towards this, that Allah guides those people who fear Him, those people who recognize His signs, like that. So this is why you have to read the entire Quran to grasp what certain parts of the Quran are saying. So this is why we read the Quran from start to end again and again and again. Sheikh, can you explain Ri'ayat al-Fawasil, please, in Jalalain? So Ri'ayat al-Fawasil basically means is when an ayah ends in a certain tone, like Mu'minun, or for example, Jahim, or for example, like with the Tashqa. Yeah, so some of the Balagha scholars say that the reason it ended in this was to make sure that the Fawasil, meaning the sound at the end of the. Are you testing me, Paulo? Well, I know. You ask like random questions, so sometimes I know in the past people have tested me. Does this guy really know his fiqh? Does he know his Balagha? Yeah, so Fawasil. Fawasil are supposed to be Saja in poetry. Saja is the ending of the poem. Yeah. Abla al-hawa asafan yawman nawa badani. So badani, the end of the poem. So Fawasil is basically the ending of the poem. I disagree with this Ri'ayat al-Fawasil, like, Sheikh Muhammad Abu Musa. He's an Egyptian Balagha, one of the leading experts in Balagha in the world at the moment. Ri'ayat al-Fawasil, I disagree with a lot of its application in some of these books. You can do my Balagha course. I've got 2 Balagha courses. They're a bit expensive, but on myuruk.com if anyone's interested. Sheikh, can you explain iqtida'un nas in usul? Yes, I can. Iqtida'un nas basically means this. It means something that's missing in the sentence that's required in order for the sentence to make sense. So, for example, like innamal a'malu bin niyat, we have to have something hidden here. Like, for example, innamal a'malu tasihhu bin niyat. Or an easier example is like Zaydun fil bayt. What do you have to have hidden here to make the sentence make sense? Thabitun, mustaqarrun. Zaydun thabitun fil bayt. Earth is flat. Allah knows best. There's nowhere mentioned in the Quran if it's flat or round. I've done a whole video, guys, on is the earth flat or not years ago. Yeah, you guys can watch that. It's so funny. The comments in the comments, they've stopped now for some reason. It used to be such a funny thing to watch. I don't know why people have stopped the comments in the bottom. Yeah, and you guys can enjoy watching it. Is the earth flat? Flat in the Quran. This is in the days when I had not much to do and just make these kind of funny videos. Do Abdal exist? I don't know. Do Aqtab exist? I don't know. Allah knows best. Okay, anyway, guys, I'm going to finish it there because you guys Paolo's random questions are not going to end. Okay, guys, Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much. Let's just check on TikTok if any TikTok interesting questions. Do you have an explanation on Nuniyya ibn Qayyim? No, I do not. I would actually like to go through Nuniyya ibn Qayyim. There are certain things I don't agree with, some things he said in there. But I would love to, because I remember I used to memorize Nuniyya ibn Qayyim. I think I can still remember some things. للعبد فيها خيمة من لؤلؤ قد جوفت هي صنعة الرحمن 60 ميلا طولها في الجو فيه كل الزوايا أجمل النسوان. Then he goes on. That's the part, the interesting part I used to memorize. Yeah, للعبد فيها خيمة من لؤلؤ. So he says, for a person, a Muslim in Jannah will be a tent من لؤلؤ, built from one pearl. للعبد فيها خيمة من لؤلؤ قد جوفت, which has been hollowed out. هي صنعة الرحمن. This will be the creation of Rahman himself. He'll make it. 60 ميلا طولها. Its height will be 60 miles high. في الجو فيه, into the atmosphere. كل الزوايا أجمل النسوان. In every corner there will be the most beautiful of women that you'll ever imagine. Allah, may Allah give us all that. I find this you on live. I have watched loads of it. Jazakallah khair. Islamic knowledge. May Allah bless you. Love your analysis, Arabic text. Shukran, Habibana. Ijma, that is indeed round. Sheikh, do you have some material on the permissibility of trading? No, I do not. But what you can do is, if you type in Mufti Faraz Adam on trading, you'll find, go to IFG. Yeah, IFG, the Islamic Finance Guru, and they've got lots of articles on trading. Very good articles. Okay, guys, I do apologize, TikTok, for not having to answer all your questions. Can you visually show or to do istilam? So istilam of the hajar, usually like this, from far away. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. And you can kiss your hands afterwards. I've read this fatwa. I was looking for primary source. I don't know how to get it. So it's on my uruk.com website. Uruk.com. So look at my bio. There's uruk.com website. Alright, guys, take care, inshallah.